Hey guys, welcome back to Hound Hogs Barbecue, and it is late. It is nighttime right now.
It's dark.
And that's because we just spent 10 hours smoking a rack of beef ribs, and we're gonna show you how it's done. Let's get to it.
We're going to go ahead and get started with the trim here in a second, but I do want to give a shout out to Cleaver and Cork. Cleaver and Cork is a butcher here locally out of Newnan, Georgia, that we were able to pick up these plate ribs from. Really nice looking butcher shop. They got a lot of good stuff over there. Really excited for the relationship we're going to be able to develop with them because we just discovered them. I actually went in there this week and found these ribs, so we're really excited to get started on these things. Excited for you guys to see them. I've been waiting to cook these for a very long time, so we're going to go ahead and get them open and start trimming. When I went over there, they actually repackaged these things for me, so they look nice and neat for the video, so I was really grateful for that. Look at that. So depending on who you ask, some people say that this is the king of barbecue right here. It's either between this and brisket, but I'm a rib guy, so I'm down for the ribs. All right, so we got the back of the ribs right here. A lot of times the membrane will be still on there, but Cleaver and Cork went ahead and pulled the membrane off the back. Depends on what you prefer. Today, I really like the fact that we're going to be able to get some of the seasoning back here on the bones. The membrane itself can actually help during the cook, hold everything together, keep the meat on the bone. But we're looking for a good bite today, and so that's not really going to matter so much. All right, so on the top of these ribs, these plate ribs, these dino ribs, whatever you want to call them, there's a million different things that these things are called. You have this fat cap and the silver skin right here. You can leave this on because the way we're going to cook it, it would render down during the cook. But we're going to go ahead and trim this hard fat and silver skin off so we can get that seasoning right there on the meat. And the trimmings over here, we can actually use these things for stock or tallow later, so you want to hang on to those. Don't want to get rid of them. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started seasoning on this thing. We're going to start on the back, go ahead and get this salted up. Today, I'm going to use some Wilsonshire Sauce right here as a binder. You can get this at Hound Hogs Barbecue Supply Company. The majority of the stuff we're going to be using today, you can find on our website. But like I said, I'm just going to use this as a binder. It's on there pretty good.
It's a little crusty. Here.
First try. So you just want to throw a little bit of this on the back just to get good coverage. We're not going to get too crazy with our seasonings today. We're going to start off with just some salt. You don't have to be too conservative. You can be pretty liberal with this salt because it is a big cut of meat. Don't go too crazy, but don't be afraid. So full disclosure, I actually forgot to put the binder on the top, but it'll be okay. We're gonna go ahead and let this salt sit here for about 15 or 20 minutes, let that kind of set in, and then we'll come on with the rest of the rub. All right, so we let this sit for about 15 minutes. We'll go ahead and come in with the pepper on the back, get the size, then we'll flip it over. Alright, so the last layer we're going to go on with is this DB180 Steak and Beef. This is going to give this thing a good color and kind of add to that bark. I'm only going to go on with the top and the sides on this. So we got all our rubs and spices on there. We're going to go ahead and let this thing sit for about 6 hours.
See, he does that, and that would have been a perfect time for him to say the right thing, and now he's going to try again, and he's going to mess up.
Yeah. So we got our salt, we got our pepper, and we got our DB180 on there. We're going to go ahead and let this set in for 30, maybe 45 minutes and let the spices and seasoning really penetrate the meat before we put it on the smoker.
You have to move?
Zach Simpkins with How to Barbecue Wrong, and our company name is Death Pigs. We let these rubs and spices set in for a little while. We're going to go ahead and get this thing on the smoker. Want to make sure you aim the big end towards the firebox. All right, so we went ahead and pulled this thing off. We let it come up to about 185 degrees internal temperature. I wanted to leave this thing on the pit for a little while longer just to kind of let this bark build up for a little while in there. And the bark is looking really good. You can see it's already getting a little squishy. Another thing that we could have done is throughout the cook, we could have put some foil on here, try to protect the bones if you're going for presentation. Well, we really just want this thing to taste good. I'm really excited to dig into this. But before we do, we're going to go ahead and wrap it for the last 10 to 15 degrees of the cook. So you can see this bark. We're going to put some beef tallow on this butcher paper, and then we're going to get it wrapped up and back on the pit. All right, so when we wrap this, we want to try and just get this thing nice and snug in here, and in a way that the butcher paper sits right up against the meat. Just kind of tucking it in for the night. Don't put that in there, that was stupid. All right, so it's been a little over 9.5 hours. Our internal temperature is at like 198. We started probing this guy, and it feels like there's just about nothing in there. That means this thing is really tender. So we're gonna go ahead and pull it off, get this thing over to the cutting board, and just let it rest for about an hour. All right, here we are.
It's been 10 hours.
Yep, it's been a long day. And I'm ready to crack this baby open and see what the prize is inside the cereal box.
Yeah.
This is not a cereal box. Okay, let's open it up. I'm going to try to be careful because, like we said earlier, there's no membrane on this guy. So it's probably going to be trying to fall apart on us, but that's okay.
Try not to lick my fingers.
Okay, I don't know if you can, but this thing smells pretty freaking good. Yeah, so our bark is looking really good on here. I'm glad that we did still wrap it towards the end to kind of soften that bark up, but the bark set in really nice. That bark's going to have so much flavor in it, and you can see just kind of when I push on it, just the squish in there. I want to slap it. Probably not a good idea to do that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try to cut this guy open. Probably should have got the serrated one. Yep, we're going to have to do a time lapse on this.
2 hours later.
Oh, there we go.
Oh man, I can see it.
Woo!
I can see it.
So I'm really happy with this. I don't know about you, Blake, but I don't really have a whole lot of words to say right now. I really want to just take this into a low-lit room, light some candles, and just enjoy myself with this thing.
I want to redact that last statement you said.
It's okay.
So he's going to pull the bone out. I mean, you can't eat one of these whole things by yourself because it's so rich. And yeah, I want that bite. That's almost like a burnt end right there.
Mm-hmm. The folks over at Cleaver and Cork, they really have some great stuff. And I'm definitely going to be going back there soon to get another cut to try.
Like, I mean, just the juice and the bark. You did good.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It might taste terrible.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I might have to take this somewhere.
I'll put you in a coma.
Yes. I mean, this is where it's at, I guess, when it comes to barbecue.
Right.
There's a reason that, there's a battle between beef ribs and brisket to be king. Again, I'm a rib guy, so I'm a little bit partial towards the ribs. These things are awesome.
I really feel like I might could have one more piece and that's it. Like, you can't eat a whole Japanese Wagyu A5 steak by yourself because it's so rich. That's how I feel about this. But man, the flavor, like this could probably feed, what, 8 people at least?
Yeah, at least.
At least. So, let's see. I mean, that bark, it's got that good crunchy, almost crunchy bark.
Yeah.
It's not soft, but it's not like squishy.
I'm definitely going to be doing this again sometime. You really don't have to go crazy with rubs and spices on this thing. Like you saw what we did. Salt, pepper, and then we threw in that DB180 to bring a little bit extra pop. And it really just did the job.
So that's it for us today, guys. As always, we want to encourage you to turn those ideas into realities, just like Zach did today, and go out and cook something new. We'll catch you next time.